All right, ladies and gentlemen, 8.3 is on area problems, and these are word problems. So far we've only learned 5 formulas. Rectangle is base times height. Parallelogram is base times height. Remember that sometimes the height is going to be outside of the parallelogram, so it's whatever's perpendicular to the base. Triangle is base times height divided by 2. Again, the height can be occasionally outside of the triangle, so whatever's perpendicular to the base, and the base is not necessarily what it sits on. Trapezoid is the height times the sum of the bases, divide by 2, and a kite is where we multiply the diagonals and we divide by 2. All right, so let's do a word problem. Tammy is estimating how much she should charge for painting 148 rooms in a new motel with 1 coat of base paint and 1 coat of finishing paint. The 4 walls and the ceiling of each room must be painted. Each room measures 14 feet by 16 feet by 10 feet high. Calculate the total area of all the surfaces to be painted with each coat. Ignore doors and windows. Okay, so let's just think about what the room looks like. It's 10 feet high by 14 feet. So another 10, 14, okay, and by 16. So the other wall is just a little bit longer, but still 10 feet tall. And then you have your ceiling back here. Okay, so looking at it, we have 2 walls, like here and back here, that 2 walls that are 10 feet by 14 feet. Plus, we have 2 walls here and here that are going to be 10 feet by 16 feet, because these are rectangles, so it's just base times height. So if we calculate that, that's going to find us the area of the 4 walls, but we need to include the ceiling, because remember it says that all the surfaces, the 4 walls and the ceiling will be painted. So the ceiling is going to be this 14 by 16, and there's only 1 ceiling. All right, so if we punch that all into our calculator, multiply it all out, we find a total for each room is 824 feet squared. So that's for 1 room, but we want to calculate the total area, so we're looking for all 148 rooms. So there's 148 rooms. They're all identical at 824 feet squared. So we're going to multiply them. If we punch that out into our calculator, we get 121,952. Oops, don't forget my 2. 52 feet squared. So that's the total square footage in this hotel or motel. Okay, 1 gallon of base paint covers 500 square feet. 1 gallon of finishing paint covers 250 square feet. How many gallons of each will Tammy need for the job? Okay, so let's do base. So we have 121,952 feet squared. If we divide that by 500 feet squared, that's going to tell us how many base coat gallons we need. So punching that into our calculator, we're going to see it's 243 point decimal. We're not going to buy just a decimal of a gallon, so we're going to purchase 244 base gallons. Okay, and then if we do our finishing, we still have the same square footage that we're doing, 121,952, but this time our paint only covers 250 square feet. So we're going to divide those. If we do those out on our calculator, we get 487 point decimal. So we're going to round that up to 488 gallons. The other thing you could have looked at is that my base paint covers twice as much as my square feet, so or my finishing paint, so I could have just multiplied finishing by 2. All right, so here's your assignment, page 423, 1, 2, and 4 through 8.